Skip Bayless versus 25 NBA/NFL fans. We don't really rock with Skip Bayless over here. We do not rock with Skip Bayless, so let's see what he has to say. I'm very interested to see this. Very, very interested to see this. Let's get into it. Shut up, Mom, for the meal. Make sure you pray real quick. Hold on. Alright. This is what we're eating. Orange chicken, white rice.
I think we're going to go in the direction of
cranberry
Stephen
juice.
Curry. And I'm going to point out one word.
Let's get it.
He was throwing balls to his receivers, hitting them in the helmets and stuff like that, and they weren't catching the ball.
It was 31-9. I'm Skip Bayless. I've been a sports commentator for many years on ESPN and on Fox. Now I host the Skip Bayless Show on YouTube. Right now, I am surrounded by 20 NBA and NFL super fans, and I wish each and every one of you the best of luck today because...
Does Skip Bayless have good takes, yes or no? I want you guys to let me know. Let me know what you think. Does Skip Bayless have good takes? Me personally, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever saw a Skip Bayless take and was like, wow, I agree with that. It's me personally, though.
You're going to need it. My first claim is Magic Johnson is the greatest Laker of all time.
Cap. Hold on. Cap. Absolutely not. Who do you guys think the greatest Laker of all time is? Obviously, I think Kobe Bryant is. I don't think Magic Johnson is. I think Kobe is. Magic Johnson could be second. I think Magic Johnson is the second greatest Laker of all time. But not above Kobe. Not above Kobe.
I know you think Magic is the greatest Laker of all time.
I do.
Skip, I think it's Kobe. I think the game is about a bucket at the end of the day.
W take. Hold on, y'all. I look chopped. I can't wait till my hair comes back. Real shit. Real shit. I better not be getting sick, bro. All right,
I think it's the priority is scoring the basketball. Kobe did that better than Magic. I think both of them were very, very transformative in what they did for the Laker franchise and the NBA in general. And I would give it to Kobe, because of his scoring prowess and also, of course, how transformative he was and how many players he inspired.
Look, I take nothing away from Kobe's ability to score buckets, get buckets, because nobody was greater in the history of the game. Magic did transform the franchise because remember, Kareem had been a Laker for 4 years doing next to nothing until Magic walks in the door in 1980 and turns them around and gets them all the way to a Game 6 at Philadelphia in the finals in which Kareem could not go. And I believe Magic Johnson that day at Philadelphia that evening played the greatest NBA game of all time, greatest playoff game, because he goes as a rookie for 42, 15, and 7 with 3 steals. He makes 14 of 23 shots and all 14 of his free throws and lifts the Lakers over Dr. J's Sixers to a championship, and he's off to the races. Now let's look quickly.
He's not lying, though. I will give him that. He's not lying. I will give him that. That is crazy to do. As a rookie, too?
At Kobe. Again, no disrespect, but I feel like Kobe was obviously Robin to Batman in the three-peat with Shaq, because Shaq dominated those 3 finals the way no players ever dominated an NBA finals to me, including Jordan. That's why I think Shaq is the second greatest Laker of all time. And in those finals, Kobe was good, but he wasn't close to the production that Shaq was equaling. So then Shaq, they fall apart, they lose to the Pistons.
But it wasn't just Shaq, though. Kobe was scoring like 40, 28, 30. Rest in peace to my dad. My dad had Kobe's back in that three-peat. My dad was the biggest Kobe fan, bro. Biggest Kobe fan. He always said that Kobe damn near did as much as Shaq. Probably not stats-wise, but Kobe definitely had an impact. Because Shaq is not winning those without Kobe, respectfully. Because I don't know. But obviously I wasn't alive to watch that three-peat. I was born in the last three-peat. But my dad always said that Kobe did so much during that three-peat.
Since obviously 2004, and he's gone, traded away to Miami. And here we go. So Kobe, without Shaq, misses the playoffs the first year. Then they lose to the Suns in the first round, and he has the pout game in Game 7, and it's hard for me to forgive him for that. And then they lose to the Suns in the first round the next year, and then they lose to Boston in the finals. In the closeout Game 6, Kobe is horrible in that game. They lose by 39 points at Boston. I can't defend that. They broke.
Okay, BZ. Let me see if I could figure out how to put the chat on here. I think I know how. Let me see. Make me mod? Only if you're going to be in here all the time, bro. Let me see if I could. Kev, how do I do it, bro? Kev, how do I do it, bro? Wait. How do I put my chat on here? Echo? I know. You got experience? What the fuck? Okay, hold on. Fuck it. I'll look it up next time. Is it still an echo? How do I make you mod? Let's see. Should I ban you? Haha. How do I mod you, bro? TBH, I don't know. GG. Matter of fact, let's figure it out. Click on your name. Add as mod. You have added Kev Beasley as a moderator of this channel. There you go, Kev. Modded you.
Broke through and beat Dwight Howard's Magic. It was supposed to be LeBron's Cavs. So I thought that was a little overrated. And then even when they did beat Boston.
What do you say?
And he's gone, traded away to Miami. And here we go. So Kobe, without Shaq, misses the playoffs the first year. Then they lose to the Suns in the first round, and he has the pout game in Game 7, and it's hard for me to forgive him for that. And then they lose to the Suns in the first round the next year, and then they lose to...
But who did Kobe have on that team? Smush Parker? Like, Kobe didn't have a Shaq. You can't put that all on Kobe, bro. And then you still have the Spurs, who was damn near the best team at that time. Like, Kobe had nobody, bro.
To Boston in the finals. In the closeout Game 6, Kobe is horrible in that game, and they lose by 39 points at Boston. I can't defend that. They broke through and beat Dwight Howard's Magic. It was supposed to be LeBron's Cavs. So I thought that was a little overrated. And then even when they did beat Boston and get over the hump, in Game 7, Kobe was 6 of 24 in that game. So,
but who got him there, Skip? Who got him there? Like, that's not a good argument for one game. That's so stupid, in my opinion. Like, who got him there, Skip?
I don't know. I agree with you.
You're telling me Pau Gasol got him there? Like, no, Kobe got them there. Kobe's the reason why they were even relevant, bro. Back to back. With the Spurs still fucking winning. LeBron in the league. All these other teams that I can't think of for some reason. But, like, who got him there, Skip? Who got him there?
Your big picture, but when I go little picture of playoff performance without Shaq, I'm sorry.
I totally understand what you're saying, and I think Magic was extraordinary. And to be a rookie and start at center in the finals as a point guard, I mean, we've never seen that before. I don't know if we ever...
Okay, he said exactly what I said. So let's see how he comes. Pause. Let's see what he says.
Will, and yeah, he was terrific. He was splendid. He won his championships. Of course, Kobe got his. And I understand you picking out these individual games and years and teammates and everything. And I think, you can really do that with anyone. And I think it's important to look at the big picture
Kobe's
because
mystique was bigger than Magic's, but if you look at Magic's productivity, how he changed a culture that both Shaq and Kobe benefited from piggybacking that culture, I'm going slightly Magic over Shaq, Shaq over Kobe. Good job, Jack.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. There you go.
I've got this dream,
I want to hear what he has to say, bro.
and you're all in it.
Let's hear it.
With Wells Fargo.
So, Kobe Bryant, 20 years with the same team, 18 All-Stars, 15 All-NBA, 12 All-Defense. MVP, 2 Finals MVPs, 5 champions.
By the way, it should have been more of a one-time MVP. He got hoed by the league. You're telling me Steve Nash wins twice in a row over Kobe? Fuck no. But let's go. Spit it on him. Pause.
Championships. And even though he's done all of that, I think what makes him the greatest Laker of all time, it's different than what makes a player the greatest player of all time. Because, like, LeBron's not the greatest Heat player of all time. That's Dwayne Wade. So it's not just, are you better, like, are you greater? It's what you've done for that city and that franchise. And I would argue it. I love Magic. I grew up on Magic. But when you watch...
It feels like you grew up more on Kobe, right?
I did. I'm older than I look, honestly. But Magic, when you saw him on the court, he was like the greatest showman, right? He's a performer, charisma, a smile, the flashiness, showtime, right? Kobe, when you saw him on the court, it was like watching your brother, your sibling, or your uncle, or something, your son, because he had this fully realized character arc. He was a rookie. He failed. Not drafted by the Lakers, but we got him, early. And the air balls, and then the rising to prominence. 2000.
He was just 18 years old. But go ahead.
Yeah. The 2000, taking over in the finals after Shaq got hurt, after Jalen Rose shadily sprained his ankle, and then he came back, and then he got him back with the 81 later. And then the championships, and then there was another. He went through kind of a villain arc.
He did.
There was like Colorado.
There was Colorado.
All the down years.
Good.
And
Like it.
if you're a fan, Kobe's with you that whole time. And I actually didn't like Kobe early on. I was mad when they started playing him over Eddie Jones, like early days. And you went through all of that, and Kobe just won you over. That's why there are more than 350 murals of Kobe in LA.
Okay, so you're making the case that Kobe is dearer to your heart than Magic was. He has a bigger place in your heart. And I'm making the case that Magic had greater impact consistently than Kobe had.
Absolutely not. No, he didn't. Absolutely not, bro.
Because Magic was the driving force of the Showtime Lakers, and Kobe was not the driving force of the three-peat, right?
Sure. Well, let me address that real quick. Because you're going to the finals and you're talking about Shaq, but that's always with the team from the East, and the East had notoriously bad big men. Everyone knows in those years the finals was the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in those series, Kobe was instrumental. In 2002, Kobe and Shaq basically throughout the whole playoffs had equivalent points. Yeah.
What did I just say in the beginning? Kobe still did his shit in that time. It wasn't just Shaq, bro.
The same amount of points. And Shaq himself has admitted on, various podcasts and different things, he was never the guy to take the last shot. I know you value that, right? Jordan's your guy. Kobe is the closest thing that we've ever seen to Jordan. And he was a guy who never shied away from the moment. He was a guy who always made the most of his opportunity when it was there.
Oh my gosh, Cranberry is so good.
I don't think he gets enough credit for the second run that he made with Powell. That team wasn't, that's not an all-time team.
No.
His all-time.
That's what I said. That's what I said, bro. Like, I get he had a bad game 7, but Kobe, is the reason why they were there and relevant.
his
But his
supporting cast
breakthrough was
all-time.
not against an all-time team because remember, the Magic upset LeBron's Cavaliers to get to the finals,
yes.
right?
I mean, I give you that, but you can only play the team that, you know. I think LeBron, maybe he's the one who did. They had the Nike commercials,
That is
but
true.
LeBron
Yeah, it
didn't
was
hold
supposed
up
to
his
be.
end.
He didn't hold up his
But
end in the bargain.
I mean,
Okay, so you're okay with Kobe pouting in a Game 7 at Phoenix against Raja Bell?
I'm not okay with it, but I mean, are you okay with 84, Tragic Johnson, where,
He
you know,
was
runs
Tragic
out the
Johnson.
clock, throws the turnover?
Okay,
I mean,
he did,
everyone's
but he
got
bounced
failures.
right back the next year in 85, and he shoots
Yeah.
a baby
And
hook shot.
Kobe bounced back the next year by going to the finals.
Okay, he did.
Boom! I'm getting more cranberry juice after that. Cheers, boy. I like this guy. I like this guy. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get more cranberry juice. Kev, if you leave, fuck you. Bout chicka wow wow, chicka wow wow. I'm still here, fought Nick. You better be. Kev, what do you mean the Realm's still in PS5 version? I'm not buying the PS5 version, bro.
Yeah, after the, you mean after the pout?
After the pout, yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I don't. That's what to me those failures you're pointing at. Every player has failures, except for maybe who's your goat. But every player has that. Magic has that. Kobe has that. I think in terms of LA and LA.
Okay, but if you look at Shaq's numbers in those 3 finals, and I give you that the big men, the Tim Duncans, were over on the other side of the bracket, right? But he goes 38, 17, and 2 in their first finals. 33, 16, and 5, and 36, 12, and 4. Look at the assists. He's averaging 5 assists a game in the NBA Finals. Listen, those 3 years, I've been doing this a long time. I was actually covering the Kareem Lakers pre-Magic out here in LA.
Let's get voted out real quick. real quick. Were any of those finals really competitive? Pacers.
Yes, bro. That's what I like. Like, back then, the competition was not it. Me and my uncle always go back and forth talking about which competition is better. The competition today is more skilled and more level than back then. Like, the competition back then was not it, bro.
Sixers and Nets. No, they were competitive. They dominated those teams.
Because
So
you,
Shaq-
you had the greatest offensive force I've ever seen, including Jordan, where he was unrefereeable at that point because I never knew whether it's offense or defense, on the foul.
I think Kobe could easily have had better numbers. He didn't have to. Shaq, those teams were not equipped to play against the Lakers. Credit Allen Iverson for getting the one game in
got it.
2001.
He was big. That was the greatest achievement of his career. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
Fuck these ads. But he had a great argument.
Way to go. Okay, you're getting close. I will.
How you doing?
Nice to see you.
Yep, so how is Magic the greatest Laker of all time when he wasn't even the greatest Laker on his team? That's Kareem. Kareem was first all-time in Lakers points.
He came ready. Look at him. He's locked in. He came ready like a motherfucker.
First in rebounds, first in blocks, first in field goals made. And he had an unstoppable move in the skyhook. Has one more championship because he has 6, Magic has 5, and he has 3 more MVPs.
Okay.
We haven't even got to Kobe yet.
Oh!
All right, let's look hard at Kareem's career. So he wins his first ring in Milwaukee, helped by Oscar Robertson kind of at the end of his career. So that's 1971. Then he goes 4 more years in Milwaukee and nothing really. They were pretty good, but they weren't great. Then he comes to...
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? What the hell? Yo, 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 yo. What the hell? Why is my phone tweaking?
To LA in '76 is his first year with the Lakers. And again, there's no Magic yet, obviously.
Right.
And they missed the playoffs the first year. The second year in '76 is his first year with the Lakers. And again, there's no Magic yet, obviously. Right. And they missed the playoffs the first year. They get swept by Portland in the conference finals. The third year of Kareem, no Magic. They lose in the first round to Seattle. And the fourth year, Kareem, no Magic, they lose in the conference semifinals to Seattle. So they're floundering with Kareem because he was a follower and not a leader. I give you every point you made about points and about rebounds and about blocks and about skyhooks and all that is sensational, but there's a missing ingredient called leadership, charisma, whatever that greatest intangible is that Magic had greater than anybody this side of Jordan.
Yeah, no,
So,
I give you that. I give you that for sure.
Right.
But the thing about it is, you were talking about in 1980, right, when Magic won Rookie of the Year. Would he have won Rookie of the Year if he would have, would he have won Rookie of the Year?
Without Kareem?
Without Kareem? Kareem was averaging 33 points that series.
Well, I would like to
Before
think
he-
he
before
would
he got
have.
injured
He
in
could have
Game
gone to
6.
Utah or wherever he would have gone. I just think he would have been Rookie of the Year. But
Right.
he was the perfect fit at the perfect moment for this team. And it became a super team,
okay,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, it was Showtime, and they had Big Game James, obviously, and they had Byron, and they had Michael Cooper guarding the way nobody could guard on the perimeter. I give you all that. But it gelled around the new son, S-U-N, who was Magic, right?
Right.
And he lifted them into what was 9 finals, okay?
Yeah.
And he is the driving force. Kareem wasn't. Kareem was really more of a Robin, but you can make a case he was the greatest Robin of all time.
Right.
Okay? I give you all your numbers because clearly it took LeBron playing now 22
Yeah,
years, but it
exactly.
took 21 years to break Kareem's record.
And that's the point that I was making, is that at the end of the day, like, unless Kareem just got unlucky because the best player of all time, LeBron James, took that scoring title from him, but he would have been able to keep that for his whole life. And then if we go to Kobe, right? For example, if I was to take your papers right there, ball them up in a trash can and shoot it, whose name would we say? We wouldn't say Magic.
No.
Who we saying? We saying Kobe. You know?
He's right. He is right. He is right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. And when we talk about like keeping that mentality, how you go through life, how you focus on what you need to do in life, nobody says, keep that magic. They say keep that Mamba mentality.
Okay.
That's what it's all about.
Okay, but you grew up in the Mamba mentality era, am I right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why I started off with Kareem first.
Okay, all right, you do, and I give you that.
Yeah.
But Magic Johnson was the greatest NBA leader ever,
Mm-hmm.
beyond Bill Russell, beyond Michael Jordan, beyond we got Brady over on the other side in the National Football League, so that's another argument. But
Mm-hmm.
but on just NBA leadership,
Right.
Magic on charisma, on winning time, as he
Yeah.
called it winning time, and
But-
in my generation, winning time was more important than, because we didn't know Mamba mentality yet,
Right,
right?
I got
I
you.
want winning time.
I
I
want
want magic time.
Kobe had the same type of leadership style as far as like Kobe
did.
had aura. Like,
He did.
job's not finished, like all of those things, but also he showed it in actions first. You know what I mean?
He
He
did.
wasn't really
I
about the
think-
partying or going out. He was so dedicated
I
to the
think
craft.
Kobe was a Jordan-esque leader, and he modeled every bit of his action, his very body language
Mm-hmm.
after Michael Jordan, and he led like Jordan did, and it wasn't a pretty sight because he could be a real, just a tough leader, like a,
Mm-hmm.
he gave nobody any slack at all. He pushed, he pulled, he cursed, he did it the way Jordan did it.
I
And it
agree.
was scary. It was like an intimidation, leadership by intimidation. Magic did it with a smile, but Magic, listen, I got to know him in his rookie year. He was as tough as they came. You wouldn't want to mess with him.
I agree with you. I mean, leadership comes in all different forms,
Yeah.
right? You never know how somebody's going to choose to lead, but Kobe led in plenty of ways, and also all the players that picked up a basketball because of his presence. We wouldn't have Devin Booker without Kobe. Jason Tatum is
I'm with
doing what he
you,
does.
but
So,
I'm
yeah.
looking at the first 4 years with no Shaq, And Kobe really struggled by himself because he couldn't figure out yet how to lead because he was a solo act of solo acts. So it took Jordan a while to figure out, hey, you actually need those 4 other guys along with 8, 9 other guys to get this done. And with Phil's help, he finally figured that out when they broke through. But even after the pout game in Game 7, if I look at Kobe winning the championship, getting even with the Boston Celtics in that Game 7, he shoots 6 of 24 in a Game 7. Well, that's not Mamba.
Bro, but he got them there. Like, you can't use that as an argument. You can't. You can't use that as an argument, Skip. Like, that's terrible.
Mentality, and,
Right.
and I didn't love that. It's like, remember, Ron Artest, Metta World Peace, hit the shot of shots in that game with a minute left. He hits a big 3 that gave them the cushion.
I'm a Celtics fan. I watched that. It broke my heart.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, thank you, Skip.
Way to go. Good job.
I will say, though, I like how everyone's being respectful. I like how it's like a civilized talk. Like, I really like how everyone's being respectful, and it's cool. There's a respect thing. But I wanted to get negative. Let's get negative.
See it live. Catch it live. Turn a good day into a...
Sorry. I think that Magic Johnson is one of the greatest Lakers of all time. But because he had a shortened career, unfortunately.
He did. It was still 12 years, but it should have been 20
12 years, but not 20 like Kareem, like Kobe, like LeBron. But I'm going to go a little off path here. I'm going to argue that the logo was the greatest Laker of all time.
Who did he say?
The only one.
Oh, Jerry West. Jerry West.
But he had to play against the greatest dynasty in the history of the sport. He had to play against the greatest leader in the history of the sport, I think, Bill Russell. Who would make, like Magic, everybody around him better. Also, he scouted for the Lakers afterwards.
He did.
He coached the Lakers during the time that you're talking about Kareem getting there.
Not well, but he coached.
They actually did okay. They actually did okay. They didn't have a great team, but they did. Like, I think they got the Western Conference Finals at least once. And then he stepped aside, and when Buss wanted to hire Riley, because Magic pushed Westhead, right?
Out. Yep.
Buss tried to make them co-coaches, and West and Riley, and West right afterwards said, that's not the case. It's Riley's team.
Right. He wanted no part of that.
And he's a badass, like in that way. And he put together Showtime. He put together Shaq and Kobe. He helped Memphis have a team at all.
Okay,
he
but
helped
we're
put together.
not talking about post-career. We're talking about playing career, because Jerry
talking about
West, to me, is the greatest GM ever in the history of the NBA. And by the way, Michael Jordan was the worst GM in the history of the NBA.
Not
just for objectivity here.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. Jerry West could arguably be the best GM ever. Michael Jordan did nothing with that Hornets team, so I agree with that.
But to your point, okay, so Jerry West and the Lakers get to 9 finals, and he loses 8 times, and a lot of it had to do with that guy, Bill Russell.
To the greatest team ever.
But if I swap out, if I put Magic in place of the logo on those teams, Magic was the greatest winner this side of Michael Jordan that I ever closely observed and got to know. So if you put him in on those Jerry West teams with Wilt and with Elgin and with Gail Goodrich, that he puts them over the top because of his dynamic charisma and leadership. It was unequaled. I've never seen anything like it.
Jerry's leadership. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but Jerry's
it was quiet leadership. It was.
But he had Elgin, who was charismatic, who was like Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan.
But man,
and West won the MVP of the finals, only person
in a losing cause.
On a losing cause.
Yeah.
That's how great he was.
He goes 1-8
He's the
in the
logo
finals
of the NBA.
And you can't say that's better than Magic's winning time Showtime.
Also, to be the greatest Laker ever doesn't mean you're the greatest Laker player ever necessarily. It means you're the greatest.
That.
So he's the only one that was great as a player, great as a scout, I think good as a coach, great as a GM, great as an advisor, great as a logo for the entire NBA the whole time. He didn't ever do anything wrong.
Okay,
he played
but if you
long.
put Jerry West on the Showtime teams, do you think they're Showtime? Because they're not, because he didn't play with any.
Kurt Rambis was on the
basketball
Showtime team.
Well, he was. He was like a sixth man or badass enforcer.
Jerry
Yeah.
West.
What are we talking about here? Like, Jerry West and Magic Johnson is not the greatest Lakers ever. They're not. Like, they're not at all.
Would have been fine. He would have been like Byron Scott or better, right?
Yeah, but again, if you didn't have Magic Johnson on those teams, you don't have Showtime. There's no more Showtime.
You don't have Showtime.
And Jerry West was as pretty a jump shooter as I've ever seen. It was just beautiful form, and it was mesmerizing, but it wasn't captivating, right? It wasn't Magic Johnson. I couldn't take my eyes off Magic because he had the big smile. He had the greatest smile in the history of the game.
Yes.
And it was contagious on his team. He lifted his...
Pause. I think he has something for Magic.
His entire team with his own charisma.
He did, like Russell, like Russell did in his own way. But I didn't realize that compellingness was part of what made somebody the greatest Laker ever. I thought it was like scoring.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you call him the greatest Laker ever because of his smile? Like, that's kind of crazy.
Well, leadership. And
Leadership.
I don't think Jerry was a great leader.
Really?
I think he was more of a solo act. He stayed to himself. He was a quiet leader, but not dynamic.
He helped
not
manage-
a powerful voice in the locker room kind of leader.
He helped manage Wilt.
I guess for a little while, and they got a championship. They got one championship
for the
out
best
of it.
Laker team ever, arguably.
Yeah, you could certainly make a case for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, good job. Way to go. My next claim is Michael Jordan is the GOAT and laughably better than LeBron James.
Did you hear the way he said it? Listen to the way he says this.
Yeah, you could certainly make a case for that. Yeah. All right, good job. Good job. My next claim is Michael Jordan is the GOAT and laughably better than LeBron James.
He's fucking devious, dude. Terrible take, by the way. He's not laughably better than LeBron. I get why people say he's better than LeBron, but he's just not. He's not even better than Kobe, in my opinion. And frankly, I'm leaning towards Michael Jordan not being better than Curry right now. But that's just me, though. I don't know. I don't know if I can put Curry over Jordan yet, but Jordan is not top 2 in my opinion. I got Kobe then LeBron. I'm sorry, I got LeBron then Kobe. But Jordan's not top 2 in my opinion. Fucking ads.
Amazon offers shipping and logistics support for small businesses.
Here we go. How are you, sir?
Good, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan of your career, everything you stand for in this industry, but this awful take, I'm not going to let it seep through.
Okay.
So, Michael Jordan, there are two angles to looking at the GOAT debate. Number one, could Michael Jordan have done what LeBron is doing in this era, and vice versa? The other angle is there any single thing that Michael Jordan has done over the course of an entire career better than LeBron James? So I'm asking you, is there one thing that you could definitively say that Michael Jordan did better than LeBron James over the course of his entire NBA career?
Yeah, he won better.
Bro, the competition was not it. LeBron had way better competition than Jordan. The competition was way different, bro. I get it was more physical, but that doesn't make the players better. W or L take? W or L take? Let me know. I'll be right back. Hold up. I need a Motrin. If you're gonna be in love with me, I want you to be.
He just won and won and won. He was invincible and unbeatable, and he went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs. And no, they didn't play the toughest competition in the finals, but the beat.
That's what I just said, bro. Competition was not it. So it's like, why are you even making that argument, bro?
Beasts were in the East, and he devoured and slayed the beasts one after another. Bird Celtics, then the bad boy Pistons, and then Reggie Miller's Pacers. And when you go 6-0 with 6 MVPs in the finals versus 4 and 6 in the finals for LeBron, and Ray Allen saved LeBron a loss there because LeBron had completely self-destructed in Game 6 of that 2013 finals. And then if Kyrie, when nobody can buy a shot, if Kyrie hadn't hit the shot of shots in Game 7 at Oracle, LeBron could be 2-8 in the final.
Bro. I get that. But Kyrie is part of the team, Skip. If Steve Kerr didn't hit that shot against whatever, they wouldn't have won that game. You get what I'm saying? Like, it could go band for band. Kyrie helped LeBron. Steve Kerr helped Jordan. Pippen helped Jordan. Kyrie helped LeBron. Dwayne Wade helped LeBron. Like, I get LeBron has played with better players, but the competition is way more different, bro. And the Bulls weren't terrible when Jordan left. They still went to the playoffs. They still won 50 games. Before LeBron went to the Cavs, they didn't even make it to the playoffs. They didn't even get past 25 wins in the season. It's like, bro, like, what's the conversation? They came back down 3-1. You're talking about one shot.
So we're talking about winning. I give you, I say it all the time. LeBron is still, to this moment, the best passer in basketball. I say it all the time. LeBron is still the greatest driver of the basketball I ever saw, to a fault, because he's a poor jump shooter, a poor three-point shooter by star standards, or certainly by superstar standards. And he's a poor free throw shooter by superstar standards. He should have 5,000 more points, but he's such a worse shooter than Jordan ever was as a jump shooter and a free throw shooter that it...
Cap. Jordan had a terrible three-point percentage. LeBron has a good three-point percentage. I get mid-range and free throws, whatever, but Jordan's not a better shooter than LeBron. Stop that.
It's hard for me to say, how can you call LeBron the GOAT when he's a lousy shooter?
Part of the argument to what you said is everything you just said is wrong. So if you look at true shooting percentage, which
tell him. I like that.
Takes into account all.
I love it. He's locked in. The
offense, all the scoring. Who had the better true shooting percentage in his NBA career in the regular season? LeBron James. Who had the better true shooting percentage in the playoffs? LeBron James. And you just said Michael Jordan won a lot better. So starting 1-9 in the playoffs in his career doesn't count, just doesn't matter. Okay. Or losing to the Pistons over and over again because he was so dominated by any level of physicality because...
I like it.
He was soft. So that does not count. That doesn't matter.
Wait, did you just call Michael Jordan soft?
Compared to LeBron James?
He was the baddest you-know-what who ever stepped on a basketball court. Trust me, I was there. Not like LeBron?
Not like LeBron.
LeBron is like the nicest guy ever. He's soft. He's a diva. He's thin-skinned. And can I start down the litany of epic fails that LeBron had that Jordan never had? Yeah, it took a while to break through against Larry Bird's Celtics. But remember that Michael Jordan had missed the whole year. He played 3 games and broke his foot. This is his second year in the league. And he comes back just for the playoffs and goes up against arguably the 86 Celtics were you could make a case they were the greatest team ever. And what does he do? He scores 49 in game 1, and in game 2, he scores 63. It took double overtime, but after that game, Larry Bird said that was God disguised as Michael Jordan. Well, trust me, Larry Bird would have never said God disguised as LeBron James because look at the
Cap. You put LeBron in the era, LeBron scoring 100 points, bro. Like, what are we talking about?
Big failures here. Do you remember 2010? the last go-round of the first stint in Cleveland. It's against the Celtics in the playoffs. It's the conference semifinals. They win big by 22. He's 14 of 22 from the floor. That's game 3. Then we get to 4, 5, and 6, and right on schedule.
14 to 22 from the floor is bad. That's 8. He missed 8 shots. Like what, bro? And look at LeBron. Who did LeBron have? A Galskisk? Like, get the fuck out of here.
He just crumbles to the point that he had somebody from his inner circle tell Stephen A. Smith at ESPN, because I was there alongside Stephen A. at that point, that LeBron had to be sedated before games 4, 5, and 6 because he was having some locker room issue with a teammate, Delonte West. Listen, Michael Jordan never had any issues with locker room teammates because they wouldn't dare to have an issue with Michael Jordan. So the point was he had to be sedated? What a wimp, what a weenie. Is that what we're talking about? And then Dan Gilbert, his owner, a few weeks later, accused LeBron of quitting in those finals. And then do you remember the first go around with the Heat, the 2011 finals? Do you remember the chosen one became the frozen one? I've never seen like it. Michael Jordan never did that. Even when they were starting 1-9, people were scared to death. Nice try.
Yeah. Nice try is crazy. Wow.
Get 4 weeks free when you sign up for Uber One for students.
Hey, good job. You got some quicks. I'm impressed.
Because I'm ready to come get you.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna start here with you. You want to discredit talking about 1-9 in the playoffs, and then not even talk about the fact that he couldn't even get to the finals in his first 6, 7 seasons, right?
Go ahead, bro. You got it. Good shit.
So you prefer somebody not even making it to the finals? That's crazy. You want to
think
discount
of what
it?
he had in the way. He had 2 of the greatest teams ever in the way, and he didn't even have a Robin yet. He was going solo. He didn't have a Scottie
And
Pippen
LeBron did?
yet.
LeBron did? First couple years?
Okay,
Good job. Because that's what I just said. All he had was a Galskis.
I give you that. I
And he
haven't
made it to
brought
the
up-
finals. He made it to the finals with
Okay,
a
and-
less roster than Jordan did.
And they got swept
Right.
by the Spurs, and I didn't even bring that up because I give you that one.
So
I'm not going to hold that
so
against
you want to
LeBron.
hold somebody accountable for going to the finals and losing than not going to the finals at all.
Okay.
Right? More money to the city, so many more things accomplished, less players on the team, right? Then his other final losses, right? You could even talk about the fact that when he went up against the Warriors, he didn't even have a running mate with him either, right? So every time you want to protect.
That is facts. 2015, that first Warriors run. I remember watching that shit, and it was just LeBron. LeBron was putting up crazy numbers, and he was by himself. Kyrie got hurt. Kevin Love was hurt. It was just LeBron. And he still won 2 games, bro. Like, I don't get it.
Like Jordan, I knew you were going to go with 6-0.
Okay, so he goes up against the Warriors.
Okay.
And I always give him this. Those first 3 games, you remember, because he doesn't have Kevin Love, he was gone already, right? Kyrie fractures his kneecap in overtime of game 1 at Oracle. Remember this? LeBron put up the greatest numbers of his career for 3 straight games. And I'm like, you got this team, because they weren't the Warriors yet. They obviously didn't have KD yet. And they weren't sure who they were. So they're down 2 games to 1. And game 4 is in LeBron's house in Cleveland. And in game 4, he was horrible. He goes 7 of 22. He was 5 of 10 from the free throw line. And I'm like, the next day, I'm telling Stephen A. on ESPN, he had a chance to step on their throats. It was, remember, the Iguodala game where Steve Kerr said, I'm going to switch. I'm going to start Iguodala, and I'm going to put him on LeBron. And LeBron just shrank. He closed up. He had them. If he had stepped on their throats and they'd gone up 3 games to 1, and this is the 2015 finals, the first one against the Warriors, you got me. That you could make a go case. But instead, he shrinks and disappears in games. Here we go again. 4, 5, and 6 right on schedule, and they lose in 6 games. So he couldn't close deals. All the great clutch shots that Jordan made, they closed deals. LeBron's made a few clutch shots, but they never mattered. They were never meaningful. They never ended series or games or championships.
No, you see, that's where you're trying to pick and choose, right? You want to talk about clutch games, but then you don't want to talk about how he's dragged so many teams to the finals, right? And
Did
he's
he
the one
drag
who's,
the
and
Heat
he's
to
the
the
one
finals?
and he's the one hitting the game-winning shots, right? The same way he took Toronto out, right? The amount of times he did that countless times, you don't want to talk about that. Though.
Well, I will.
You
Right. Right.
want to only talk about when Jordan does it in the finals, as if Jordan's career was only 6 years. He's 6
Okay.
on the finals, but his career isn't 6 years.
No.
He had 6 to 7 years before that,
Yeah.
and then he had another
W take. I like that. I like that.
2 years in the Washington Wizards at 40 years old. We don't want to talk about LeBron at 40 now.
Okay, I
They
don't.
literally tried to drag
like-
him out the court.
they were-
Gilbert Arenas talked about how they literally was ready to hand him the keys and get Jordan out of there by 40.
They were
he was
two
a cancer.
ceremonial years. He wasn't a cancer.
Yeah,
he was running the show. He was going to be the GM and the head coach
they
and
were horrible.
the fading superstar.
So,
he
those
averaged.
years don't count then. That's
Okay,
the way it sounds like
the
to me.
last 2 years I don't count.
That's crazy.
Okay,
So, but then you want to count
wait,
everything
wait,
about
wait, wait.
LeBron. You want to count everything about LeBron, but
Okay.
then take some years out.
He took 3 years off. He retired because they ran
Oh
his
my gosh, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Skip is crazy, bro.
coach out the back door in Chicago,
whose
and he
fault is
said,
that?
I'm out. Well, it was on pride and principle. He just said, I'm out. I'm not going to play anymore. And he came
And
back because he
greatness
was.
means keep playing year in and year
No,
out.
it
Every
doesn't.
year, LeBron keeps extending his career because the love of the game, and that matters.
Okay,
Right? His
Jordan-
heart is still in it.
in
and
the
he's going
short
even
time he
towards
played,
40.
Jordan won 10 scoring titles to LeBron's 1 scoring title. Jordan was the defensive player of the year in 1989. He's the defensive player. LeBron was never defensive.
LeBron should have been defensive player in 2014. Everyone who watched basketball knows that. Marc Gasol won it, and Marc Gasol wasn't even on first team on defense. And LeBron was that year. LeBron should have won defensive player of the year that year. Nobody was fucking with LeBron on defense that year.
Defensive player. 9 times Jordan was first team all defense. I'll give you 5 times early in his career, LeBron was first
Could you
team all
not
defense.
argue that LeBron should have got way more MVPs? Because he was always the best player all those years, but they don't count it.
Okay.
So
Right. Because if MVP was actual MVP, LeBron would get it every year.
now we're going to take away accolades from him
You know that
versus in a
Jordan was
time.
the best player for 11 straight years in Chicago? He
that's
was.
fine.
It was just ridiculous how much better he was.
I'm not arguing that.
Okay. All right. So let's look at LeBron's buzzer beaters, okay? Because I know them by heart.
And he has more buzzer beaters than Jordan.
No, he doesn't. It's 9-8 Jordan. It's 9-8. I'm not cherry picking. I'm not semantics. I'm just telling you the truth. It's 9-8 Jordan, and I'm giving the 8. That thing the other night.
I'm sorry, wait, you only talking about the playoffs. 9-8.
No, I'm doing total regular season and playoffs. The other night,
Please fact check.
LeBron had a little tip in at the buzzer. Do you remember this? On Luka's missed shot, and LeBron's just right at the rim and just tips it over the rim, and you have to count that as a buzzer beater. And it was the weakest, easiest buzzer beater in the history of buzzer beaters. Okay, all right.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
It's still a buzzer beater, though.
Okay, so here are your. I'm going to get to Jordan's in a minute, but I'm watching every game LeBron plays, and it took him 477 NBA games before he finally hit a walk-off shot, and it was on Ronnie Turioff. It was at Golden State. This is probably way before your time because it was January 23rd of 2009. It was a regular season game, okay? And he hit it, and I'm like, way to go! I stood up and gave him a standing ovation. And then he hit the shot heard round the world against Orlando in Game 2 at Cleveland. You'll remember this in the year that they ended up losing to the Magic. When
True.
okay,
But the game is more than just game-winning shots. You know that, right?
No,
Right now
I know
you're going
that,
down
but-
a rabbit hole. If
okay.
you want to talk about like clutch shots, end
Okay,
of game,
but
there's
then-
47 minutes before that you got to play.
understand that,
Which
but here's
LeBron
the
is.
point.
Go ahead.
LeBron was born without a clutch gene. It's as simple as that. He just was. Jordan is the greatest clutch shooter I ever saw, and LeBron can be the weakest mentally superstar I've ever witnessed because he's afraid of the late game free throw line. And in late and close situations, since LeBron came into the league, he's the worst by
Why
far.
is basketball so much about the last 30 seconds when there's 47 minutes and 30 seconds in the game?
You're trying to make
and
a
there's
GOAT
so
case.
Much, yeah,
You're-
GOAT
okay,
case, exactly.
okay, and you're trying to make it
right?
over Michael Jordan?
Exactly.
You did a good job. You did a good job. Way to go.
Good job, Skip. I like the respect. Fucking ads.
You're going to need that crosser
Yes.
engine.
Yes, I will.
I don't think LeBron's the GOAT. I don't think Michael Jordan's the GOAT either, though.
Oh, so we're going a different direction.
I think we're going to go in the direction of Stephen Curry. And I'm going to point out your simple statement in one word.
Steph Curry?
You said laughably.
Okay.
Curry's not the GOAT at all. But is Curry better than Jordan, though? That's the question. Right now, I'm leaning towards he is. 10 years ago, I would have said, fuck no. But, I don't know. Curry's just fucking amazing, bro.
And to me, that's bigger than Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. You are simply hitting and taking a hit, a personal shot at the entire game of basketball that we are watching today. And to me, you bring up competition. I think seeing Steph Curry and LeBron James and have go head-to-head in their rivalry, LeBron always posts on Instagram, he says, iron sharpens iron. Where was the iron sharpening iron with Michael Jordan when he was winning?
Don't even finish your statement. Because that's facts, bro.
Winning all of his championships. I understand that 6-0 is something that is perfect. You really can't debate it. But what you can do is say, all right, it was a beautiful thing. We're going to leave it in the past because there is greatness in front of our eyes, and it's LeBron James and it's Stephen Curry. And then we get into LeBron versus Steph, and I'm going to sit here and say, Steph Curry, if he wins a 5th championship, which he will, which is why I'm saying Steph's the GOAT, if he wins that 5th title, he is the greatest of all time.
Okay. Do you really?
I disagree. Curry is not the greatest of all time. But if Curry wins one more chip, he's better than Jordan, for sure. For sure. W or L take, let me know.
Realize that Steph Curry and company had a 3-1 lead on LeBron without there's no Kevin Durant involved here, right? It's just Steph. So it's, I think you would agree, that was Steph's team, right?
It was
there's
a tough
Clay and there's Draymond, and we get all that. But it's Steph Curry or bust to me.
Game 5.
Because, okay?
Draymond Green.
You've got, he's gone. So you don't
Why?
have.
Because LeBron made him gone.
If Steph is the GOAT, he's got 2 out of 3 at home to close the deal. All he's got to do is win 1 of 3, and 2 out of the 3 are at Oracle.
Yep.
And he can't pull it off because he's not that guy. He's not the GOAT. And what happened in Game 7 at Oracle? Remember LeBron's chase down block? Remember this?
Yep.
And Kyrie hits the game-winning shot. In the 4th quarter of that game, Steph Curry went 1 of 6, and he went 1 of 4 from 3. Well, I'm sorry, 1 of 5 from 3, and he had a terrible turnover with 2 minutes left where he tried to throw it behind his back and threw it in the 5th row, and it was a key turning point in that game. And without Steph disappearing in the 4th quarter, LeBron and Kyrie cannot do what they ended up doing. And after they blew the 3-1 lead, what happened on July the 4th that summer? Steph Curry led a contingent in a private plane, and they fly all the way across the country out to the tip of Long Island to visit Kevin Durant. And Steph Curry got down on one knee and said, "You've got to come save us."
I don't agree with that. Realistically, I don't want to say should have, but nobody ever counts those rings with KD. Even today, you can't count them, bro. It was fucked up. KD, for the while, I thought it was better than Jordan. I think KD's a top 5 player of all time, but that was fucked up. KD going to fucking the Warriors was crazy. I'm so sick. I feel sick, y'all.
You, Kevin Durant, have to come save us because we can't beat LeBron James without you.
Understand.
Okay?
I understand
So you're disqualified as the GOAT. If you have to go beg somebody
You're not
to come save
disqualified
you.
because LeBron James, everyone here is talking about LeBron as the GOAT, and he did a very similar thing. When you look at Steph Curry and his greatness, I get that he choked in that moment. The 3-1 lead, you're never going to be able to beat that. But what he did in 22 against the Celtics and what he's doing now, you love Tom Brady. His best years are ahead of him, and I'm predicting that right now.
Okay.
Yes, 1,000%.
Well,
I think the next 5 years of Stephen Curry are going to be his best 5 years.
We don't know that. I'll bet against that because he's 37 years of age. Very good. Good job.
So last night he used him.
Honestly, nothing better
What the
than
fuck?
How are you, sir?
Man? Good to see you.
Dodger fan.
Right now, I gotta school you on this. LeBron is the GOAT. He is the GOAT. I know MJ 6-0. We're kind of just mystified with that. the LeBron's longevity for 22 years, the work that he's done since '03.
Okay.
And he's been in the shadow of MJ for 22 years. He hasn't been, MJ, who did he look up to? He was with Magic, Magic, that smiling face. Loved Magic, but he wasn't as intimidating as being in Jordan's shadow for
Agreed.
22 years of
Okay.
his career.
All right.
I know the 4-6 in the finals, but man, 10 NBA Finals appearances. And just one more thing. I know we've talked about this. 2021, finals. The finals was the Nets versus the Bucks. 2018, it was Rockets Warriors. Jordan had to deal with that.
And by the way, that Rockets Warriors, if Chris Paul doesn't get injured, Rockets are going to the finals, and I think they're beating the Cavs. That team was built to beat the Cavs and the Warriors. You had PJ Tucker, who was a great defensive player, Trevor Ariza, who could guard LeBron, Chris Paul, who was playing magnificent, James Harden was untouchable. The Rockets could have beat that team. If Chris Paul did not get injured, Chris Paul would have got a ring, bro.
In the East. Oh, he wasn't pushed to a Game 7. He got pushed to a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference semifinals in '92. He got pushed to a Game 7 in '98 in the Eastern Conference Finals. He's been pushed before. He still triumphs. Jordan, that 6-0. We're always going to be mystified from that. All around.
Okay.
It's LeBron.
I'm going to give you your first point. LeBron James is the longevity king. I mean, it's unquestioned. He is the most durable superstar ever. I'm watching a game the other night, and he hooks his thumb on the rim and pulls it, and I thought, oh, God, because that's your shooting hand. And I thought, man, are you gone? Nope. They go tape it up, and he goes right back in. Incredible, blessed durability. That's how you play 22 years at age 40. LeBron has now played in the regular season 60,000 minutes to Jordan's 40,000 minutes. So it's an apple and an orange almost. And if we go total, it's 71,000. If I add the playoff minutes in, 71,000 to 48,000. That's 23,000. That's a magic number that LeBron tried to steal from Jordan, and he shouldn't have. Because LeBron wished a lot of this on himself. He right away declared himself, I got next. I'm the next Jordan.
How many times during LeBron's 22 illustrious career, how many times did he take a break? I know Jordan's done that a few times.
He got one break before they won their last championship in the bubble, the Mickey Mouse Championship, as I call it. He got one.
That's not a break, and that's the hardest championship to win, besides the 3-1 finals. That was not a break, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
Like a 4-month break ahead of that, and it served him well because
Not
I don't
18
think he's
months,
going to
he
win
didn't play
another
minor league. He didn't go in the minor leagues. He didn't go try to go be an owner of the league. He's gone 22 straight years playing in the NBA.
Longevity
so
king.
many
That
playoff
doesn't make
runs.
you the GOAT. That makes you
10
the longevity
NBA
king.
Finals appearances.
Okay.
MJ couldn't get to 10. He couldn't get past the Pistons, just like LeBron couldn't get past the
he did
Warriors.
get past the Pistons finally.
After
And
3
there
years.
was a book written about it called The Jordan Rules, in which it detailed the rules with which the Detroit Pistons, the bad boys, had to stop Michael Jordan.
And thankfully
they
he
were
got
scared
Scotty.
to death of him.
Thankfully he got Scotty during that time because and he also had a head coach, Phil Jackson, during that time. Once they figured that out. But who did LeBron have as a head coach during that time? Mike Brown. Mike Brown is no Phil Jackson.
Nope.
He had Antoine Jameson. He had Ilgauskas. That's why he had to go to Miami. He had to go over.
Good shit, bro. Good shit.
There and team up. He learned how to win. And when
Eric Spoelstra is a real live coach. But I would bank on Eric Spoelstra. And remember, Pat Riley was coaching the coach in that situation. So that was optimum. That was ideal. And LeBron needed a big brother to teach him how to win. And Dwayne Wade was that guy. Okay? Yeah. All right. Good job.
Real man.
Way to go. Thank you.
Dumbass heads.
I think my biggest gripe with your argument is the word laughably. I think your top 10 NBA players of all time is well documented. You've got people like Larry Bird in there.
I do.
You've got Shaq in there.
I do.
You know, those two guys, within the last 3 to 5 years, have deferred to LeBron and called LeBron the GOAT.
I'm not sure Larry Bird has, but Shaq on TV will
verbatim. Larry Bird said, LeBron is one of, if not the greatest ever.
Okay.
You have him at, I think, at number 7.
I do. 9, actually.
9.
Just real quick, I got...
Wow. 9?
Obviously, Jordan, Magic, Shaq, Kareem, Tim Duncan, Bill Russell, Kobe 7, Bird 8 and LeBron 9. Because I'm taking Kobe and Larry Bird as clutch players over LeBron James every day and every night.
So if you look this up, Shaq also said that LeBron is the greatest ever. So with that being said, if Shaq is deferred to LeBron and said he's the greatest ever, that would at least make him 3. He deferred to that. He gave him 3. So the word laughably is really crazy to me, because also you've called LeBron weak. You called him soft, mentally weak, mentally soft. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to play in the NBA for 22 years. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to be, called the king at age 13, 14, and live up to all those expectations without a hiccup off the court, without being, being in the news for a negative reason. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to do that.
I give you all that, but we're just talking about your performance on the court.
Sure, but yeah, he's the greatest. He has the most points ever.
This is what really kills me about what I call you LeBron supporters. You're fanatic about it. You're blind witness, because you're blind to what happens. You expunge his record, you scrub his record, you don't want to hear all the negatives, and they just pile up. I call them epic fails, and I've given a couple so far, and I'm going to give a few more. If we can go back to that fateful Game 6 of the 2013 finals, I don't know if it's before your time, but I'm sure you were watching. It's at Miami, and the Spurs have a chance to close it out in 6 games, and they're up 5 points with 18 seconds left. And I was a Spurs fan at this point, and it was unheard of to blow a lead, especially in a game of that magnitude that way. Down the stretch of that game, even in the final minute, with 40 seconds left and 20 seconds left, this is Game 6 closeout potential, LeBron had 2 unforced error turnovers that were horrendous. Even I'm not a LeBron fan, but I sat back and I said, what are you doing, man? He's unraveling. He made 1 3, but then he had to take a 3 to tie the game with 6 seconds left. And he, as I say, LeBricked it.
Which would be a clutch shot.
Okay, it would be, but he LeBricked it. He bounded it.
One thing about the epic failures.
Yeah.
Would you call Jordan getting swept in the first round 3 times an epic failure?
Nope, because they weren't epic, because they weren't magnitude games, because these are in the finals. I'm going to the finals. So it took Ray Allen making the greatest clutch shot I have ever witnessed, because remember, it's a LeBrick, and it's a long rebound out, and it's Chris Bosh goes out and tracks it down and kicks it in the corner.
To call someone LeBrick while having the most points ever is wild. Now, I know you're a Jordan guy. It pained me to say that Jordan's been swept 3 times in the first round, because I'm a Jordan guy too. But to laughably say that LeBron and Jordan aren't even in the same conversation, that's wild. It's a discredit to basketball.
I know you watched this.
Insane.
How about the Western Conference Finals just 2 years ago against Denver, okay? So the Lakers wind up getting swept, but 4 straight times they go to the fourth quarter.
We lose that series because of AD. AD is the reason why we lost that series. AD was getting punked by Jokic the whole series. AD fucking sucks, bro. AD looked good in 2020, and that was it. We don't lose to Denver without AD. Like, AD sucks, bro. Like, and I will give AD this though. He did his best, but the Lakers messed up by getting rid of Dwight and JaVale McGee. Like, we're not beating that team with just AD, but AD sucks, bro.
Right there, it's a winnable game for LeBron and company. First 2 are in Denver, second 2 at home. If you combine his shooting stats for the 4 fourth quarters, he's 7 of 23. That's horrible. That's how you lose games. And he was 1 of 10 from 3 in those 4 combined fourth quarters. And in the closeout game at, as I call it, the crypt here in Los Angeles, in the final seconds of the game, LeBron gets 2 shots to tie the game, 2 two-point shots, and neither of them he gets up to the rim. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? You're better than that. And yet the blind witnesses say, oh, we didn't see that. We don't want to hear about that. So we fast forward 1 more year, because last year in the playoffs, they get Denver again, but this time it's in the first round. And games 1 and 2 at Denver, LeBron pouts in the fourth quarter because he can be a mentally weak diva, and he won't shoot in the fourth quarter of a winnable game. I'm going, what are you doing, man? Just take over. You can do this. You can rise above Joker and Jamal. Because you think he's the GOAT. The GOAT rises above because the game is begging to be won by LeBron James. And he won't shoot until there are 3 minutes left and the game's out of control. Game 2, he's got Jamal on him. He makes a sweet move. It's Jordan-esque on Brian Russell in Game 6 at Utah. And we've got LeBron James. This is game 2 just last year in the playoffs at Denver. It's going to change the series. He gets a wide open shot from 3. It's like a free throw from 3. And he LeBricks it. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? Because Kobe's going to make that shot. Jordan's obviously going to make that shot. I think Shaq could have made that shot. It was so easy. Seriously. But
what do you have to say about Shaq deferring to LeBron? He said it.
PR.
He said it.
It's
Why would he
PR.
say that, though? Why does a killer say that?
Why does a killer say that? I might cut this video short, y'all. I think I'm going to do a part 2. I feel really sick. I'm not going to lie. And it's not like nobody's watching anyway.
With frozen
I think when he
Oreo
switches
bites.
to NFL, we'll skip.
Ooh, I got it.
You've been chomping to get up here.
Yeah, I've been ready for this.
Yeah.
All right, well, first I gotta say this. It could be SGA, it could be SDA, you can call it CIA. Lakers in 5. Okay.
That was good.
Just gotta get out of the way. All right.
Okay. Lakers in 5 to do what?
To win the finals, win everything.
To win this year's finals?
Your friend, Shannon Sharp. Yeah. But anyways, let's get back to the prompt. Okay. I like facts. Facts, numbers.
So do I.
That's something you can't lie about.
Okay.
Facts. Okay. I like to say that LeBron is the greatest player of all time because of several reasons. He's the only player to be in a 30-point club, 10K club for assists and rebounds. He's the only player to be positioned in as a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center at the same time. Okay, you have to debate that Michael Jordan or LeBron James is the GOAT in longevity. He's the GOAT just entirely because of what he's able to accomplish. What he's doing at age 40, he's breaking people's ankles. He's decking on people at age 40.
I agree with you. I've never seen anything like this guy
What he's
at
doing.
40.
And he's averaging as much points as he did in 2013 as an MVP. He averaged 27, 7 and 7. He's averaging 25, 8 and 8 as a 40-year-old.
He's actually shooting the ball better than he has in 22 years, both from the free throw line and the three-point line combined.
Mm-hmm.
His shooting stats are the best ever. They don't rank highly this year in the NBA, but again, he's all the way up to 77% from the free throw line and 38% from the three-point line. What took him so long? I'm like, what have you been doing? I thought you were in the lab. This is year 22, and it took you this long to become an average free throw shooter, Okay.
What he's doing at 22,
facts.
yeah, I'm doing stats and facts. You can take the last, say 5 40-year-old players that played in the NBA, that played at least 40 games. All right, you can take Manu Ginobili, Dirk Nowitzki, Vince Carter, Jason
You
Tatum.
got me.
You can take all their retired numbers, put them together, and they won't average what LeBron's averaging right now.
Does that make him the GOAT? Longevity GOAT?
Well, it's part of it. I think it's a part of it. And you went to the fact that Jordan is the most clutch player ever.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron is actually more clutch than Jordan was. There's a website called Fadeaway World. You can look it up. The criteria for clutch is anything in the last minute.
That's not what my stats say or scream.
Well, I'm telling you what I found.
Okay.
So I found that they said that clutch means the last minute of a fourth quarter or overtime game with at least 20 field goals attempted. LeBron James is 4th overall, hitting 54 shots. Jordan is 27th, hitting 9 of the shots out of 31.
All right, let me just remind you. When Jordan made clutch shots, they really, really mattered. They endured. They were historic clutch shots because he first introduced himself as a freshman at North Carolina in the 1982 the NCAA championship game. He makes the walk-off shot, a jump shot, and Dean Smith called his number, not James Worthy's number, not Sam Perkins' number. He called Michael Jordan's number as a freshman. He was called Mike Jordan at that point. And then, remember, he introduced himself to the NBA world against Craig Elo in Cleveland, Game 5. This is the closeout game. This is for all the marbles, and he hits a hanging walk-off shot jumper over Craig Elo, and it became iconic. We all see it. You can just call it up on YouTube right now and look at the highlight, look at his celebration. It won the series, okay, his first playoff series. And then, obviously, I was there on press row, courtside, Game 6 at Utah. Little subtle push-off Brian Russell against the Jazz, and he hangs and holds the pose just beyond the free throw line and rips it, and it's a walk-off. Stockton got some heave at the buzzer, but it was a walk-off. It won the championship. It won Game 6. It closed them out. All of his shots had magnitude. Jordan, but then I look at LeBron, and all of his walk-offs, and I'm giving him that little tip in the other day. Okay, let's call it 7 walk-off shots. They didn't matter. They didn't get you anywhere. There are 3 in the playoffs, and they're they're pretty good. But what do they say about the blind squirrel? He finds an acorn every once in a while. If you're going to play 71,000 minutes, you're going to hit a few walk-offs here and there when you play that much longer than Michael Jordan did. Way to go. Good job. Thank you. Everybody did great. Thank you.
LeBron is a GOAT. LeBron is a GOAT. Jordan is not laughably better than LeBron. Like, absolutely not.
My next claim is Patrick Mahomes is dramatically overrated.
Yep, and that's where we stop the video. I'm going to do a part 2 to this either tomorrow or Wednesday. So make sure you subscribe right now, like the video, comment, and share. And let me know what you guys think if you're watching this. This is for my YouTube, by the way. But, yeah, guys. Peace.